I believe in breaking the bonds of gravity. I'm talking about the accumulated clutter of unwelcome thoughts, feelings, and habits in our life and business that generates our own personal gravitational pull, holding each of us down in our own unique way. This video illustrates my most powerful tool, revealing competing commitments. When we aren't able to solve a problem with a clear answer, there's usually something deeper going on. The answer isn't in front of you. It's hidden between your ears. This 6-minute video clip from my Wednesday workshop series shows it in action as applied to removing yourself as the biggest bottleneck in your company's growth. A client was referred to me. Her name is Phyllis. She's a serial entrepreneur who started this particular business 3 years ago. She's super high energy, mother of 2 teenagers. She was looking for a traditional business coach to help scale her business. And Phyllis was committed to having a company that could thrive independently of her. She had reached a certain level of success with 15 employees. She loved her work, but her business was driving her crazy. She was working 14-hour days. She was constantly being sucked into employee drama and rescuing staff from their mistakes, incompetence, and unreliability. Our first couple sessions, I prescribed the standard treatment: daily huddles, so everyone gets on the same page, weekly management team meetings to keep major initiatives on track, and a process of accountability so that everything doesn't have to be her sole responsibility. She already had a strong core values and purpose culture in her company. She eagerly applied the lessons, and her business improved until new problems popped up that kept sucking her back into the minutia again. She'd built a prison of her own design where nothing could happen unless she either did it herself or she was micromanaging her staff. So we did this exercise, and she realized that she had this competing commitment. Phyllis is committed to not being dependent on anyone. So of course she was working 14-hour days, constantly being sucked into employee drama and rescuing staff from their mistakes, incompetence, and unreliability. She was committed to not being dependent on anyone. These revelations can feel embarrassing, while conscious commitments usually reflect noble goals that people are happy with to share with strangers at a cocktail party. Competing commitments can bring feelings of shame or fear, but there's nothing to be embarrassed about. This is simply how our mind protects itself, a perfectly natural, perfectly human impulse. The question is, if your competing commitment serves as a form of self-protection, what are you protecting yourself from? And the answer usually lies in deeply rooted beliefs about yourself and the world around you. What is the belief that fuels your competing commitment? What are all the possible beliefs a person who had this commitment might hold? We're going to create a sentence by turning the competing commitment around and then fill in the blank. For example, I'm committed to not looking stupid because if I look stupid, something bad's going to happen. You'll know you have the right one when it has a strong hold on you and that it's testable. For example, I helped my client Phyllis brainstorm what might someone believe who's committed to not depending on anyone. And after coming up with a few possibilities, she realized that she had this hidden belief. If I depend on people, they will disappoint me, betray me, and I'll feel awful. For someone with your unconscious beliefs, your competing commitment makes all the sense in the world. Your mind drives you to engage in behaviors that support your competing commitment in order to protect itself. But this work of your mind doesn't serve you. Only by bringing hidden beliefs to the light can you challenge your assumptions and recognize why you're engaging in behaviors that don't serve your conscious interests. Unconscious beliefs aren't usually 100% wrong, but even if a belief does contain a kernel of truth, it's often possible to find more effective ways to operate once you've had a chance to challenge the belief and its hold on your behavior. The idea is to help sharpen its contours so you have a realistic, data-based version of when, where, and with whom your belief is relevant. Just one test is rarely enough. Use the information from one test to design another, slightly riskier test. We want to move from being unconsciously controlled by our beliefs to consciously controlled by our beliefs to consciously free of our beliefs to unconsciously free of our beliefs, so you don't have to think about it anymore at all. As you expose this belief to the light, its power will evaporate. As its hold on you weakens, so will your competing commitment. And then watch your behaviors that are at cross purposes with your primary commitment effortlessly melt away. In Phyllis's case, she did a few low-risk tests of her belief that if she depends on other people, they'll disappoint her, betray her, and she'll feel awful. So she intentionally depended on her staff and family for some simple things. She asked them for some favors to do some tasks, and the test turned out okay. So she felt comfortable taking slightly larger risks, and things started to improve until a terribly frustrating day when she was so resentful of her staff because they couldn't make the simplest of decisions. She couldn't get any of her own work done. She hadn't even had time to have breakfast or go to the bathroom before a 3 p.m. coaching call. In her current state of mind, it was obvious we weren't going to be able to get to a regular agenda. So I led her through an emotional clearing guided meditation to calm her down. We took a 10-minute break so she could eat something and go pee. And when she returned, I asked her, are you committed to having a company that can thrive independently of you? Or are you committed to not depending on anyone because they'll disappoint you? And with passion and a touch of righteous anger, she declared she wants to have a company that could run and grow without her micro involvement. We quickly outlined 8 action steps: fire the incompetents, clarify her expectations, start paying a market wage to attract more qualified people, throw the monkey back to staff when they try to put it on her back, set up a progressive write-up system for drama-free, easy accountability, and more. And when we talked 2 weeks later, she'd implemented all the action steps, and she'd had the most productive, satisfying time she'd ever experienced as an entrepreneur. She's now free of her competing commitment. So progress is easy. She no longer has one foot on the brake. And last week she told me she's going on a 3-month sabbatical. Was that useful for you? If it was, and you would like some help with this stuff, I run a free Facebook group called Mission Control Fellowship to help entrepreneurs gain clarity around who you are, where you want to go in your life and business, and how to get there. It's for lifelong learners looking to improve your life and business. Might be useful for you. Check it out in the link below, because to boldly go forward, a little help goes a long way.